Hello guys. So, ew, the British accent is disgusting now. Imagine unironically having a British accent right now. Look at your country. Look what you've let happen to it. Oh man, I feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap after even pretending to have a British accent. Little Iran over there. Little Pakistan. Look at you guys. Pathetic. I'm going to tell you guys a story that you guys have been told for your entire lives. They've told it to you like the children that you are. As if it was some kind of like bedtime story. It's the story of Michael, the Archangel, burning bright with a blade that cleaved the sky and hurled Lucifer from the throne of light. Now the church, they underline it, they print it on the back of hymnals. They make it safe and easily digestible, this brutal story. It's a clean victory, guys. It's an act of justice. Michael didn't fucking negotiate. He didn't debate. He didn't try to beat legally. He didn't seek victory through votes or political correctness. Michael didn't give a shit what Satan had to say or what his followers felt. He didn't draw up some kind of charter and invite the rebel prince to take a corner office in heaven's bureaucracy or to run for mayor. He didn't hire the demons as police officers or allow them to fight in his army. No. And God is the master, of course we know this, but he works through his archangels many times, often. So why are we any different? God didn't build cushions and play soft music in the places that Lucifer preferred. He slammed the gates and he made rules to follow, because contrary to popular belief, no, we shouldn't be allowed to do whatever pops in our minds. There are rules. So this land of the free and this home of the brave that has come to mean because it's free, we can do and say all the evil we want to. And the brave have been completely liquidated. There's none of them left. Where are you, brave man? Where are you? There were, and there are, strict rules for how heaven must behave. So why are we thinking that we don't need those same rules here? Is heaven somehow less PC than earth? If that's all true, if heaven enforced obedience with a blade rather than some fucking brochure or transvestite propaganda, then why do we still pretend the kingdoms of earth are permitted to be anything else? Why do we let these men suppose that the ground must be arranged so that tyrants can feel comfortable? Why do we let the loudest creatures of the marketplace imagine that they are entitled to change the laws of gravity so that they can prosper with their Sharia law and their satanic beliefs? There is a horror in that presumptuousness. Not the gothic kind that we read by candlelight and close the book upon, and that all the people in the woo-woo space are out here talking about. Because contrary to all of their beliefs, real life actually does happen. Oh, but every now and then I drop in on these other podcasts and I just look at them and I laugh. Because this is not the time for woo-woo. No. This is a practical, hands in your guts, fishing around for anything edible kind of horror. A system that will passively, patiently, methodically extinguish the dissenting voice until the only noise left is the hum of consent and peaceful discourse without hate speech in the land of the free, which really is just starting to sound like Sodom and Gomorrah Babylon, where people do whatever they want to do because we're free. No. These evil men and demons and fallen ones, they will not disassemble you in a single dramatic gesture. Like, that would be bad theater for a regime that wants permanence. Do you not see? They will cajole you into silence. They will buy the choir. They will pay the preacher. They will put velvet ropes around the narrative. And when that fails, they're going to make an example out of you. That's where the cross comes in. They're going to make examples out of all of us who still shout. People like me. People who dare to say something. And I know that you guys might see this statement as something that's kind of, oh, look, he's trying to elevate himself. He's so high and mighty. No, but I am saying something and you are not. Oh, so many people who come to my avenues to try to tell me how they are doing so much though there are no works. How they are so right though there is no faith. How the contradictions abound in the 1 or 2 sentences that they can barely spell out grammatically correct. The dismantlings will be very slow. They will be very visible. Crucifixions will be performed in public squares. Decapitations will become normal. They'll be live streamed by the state's own cameras. This spectacle is coming. It's not just conspiracy to say they will do it. It is prophecy. Also, it is simple observation. You can see it happening to you already. But ye who are silent say nothing, and you do nothing ever. Look at the institutions they've taught us to trust. The universities, the corporations, the press, the hospitals. They've converted truth into an optional adjunct of brand management. They do not stand between you and the state. They stand between you and the storm, offering you an umbrella with holes in it. I'm not talking to you from some cave. I'm not under a rock somewhere, unaware of what's actually going on. I am reading the wiring on the transformer that powers this civic life, and I can tell you where the insulation has been stripped. And the people who will be most surprised when the lights go out are the ones who practiced silence as a lifestyle. Your God that is a kumbaya God and accepts all evil because it is the loving thing to do. Your God that accepts the infidel into their house so that they can decapitate all who reside in there and then turn the church into a mosque. Ye who would go into Canaan and join with them because it is the will of the Lord have forgotten the way that the Lord sent a small people to conquer great ones. You weaklings. Christianity has lost its bite. We've been led to believe that Christianity is this soft little religious belief where Jesus would take all of the evil in others' arms and he would rub it on his skin and he would become one with all the evil because Jesus is love. Fuck that! Jesus is love, but he does not love evil and he demands its destruction. So, dear Christian, what type of Christian are you? Because the ones who are loud, the Christians who are loud, are the ones they will come for because they are the dangerous ones. The Christians that are quiet are so easily to consume. But it's quite a conundrum because we have this massive amount of the population who believes that the Constitution protects them. And some of you are nodding at the Constitution in your living rooms right now. You're reciting the Bill of Rights like it's some kind of talisman, cross-checking phrases against one another to find where your comfort sits, to make sure that you are still within your rights and that your rights are being infringed upon. The Constitution is a ladder. It's not a pillow. The Constitution is a strategy. It says in plain and ugly language that citizens may be called to defend it. That blood will nourish the roots of liberty. You're not supposed to hang it on your wall and just admire it. It's not wallpaper for your politics, some kind of friendly accessory. Defense requires risk. Defense requires being visible and loud at the precise moment. Visibility is inconvenient. Defense of the truth, defense of the weak, defense of the women, defense of the children, defense of God, and defense of your rights. Who is going to defend it? The very people who are taking it? Who do you want to defend it for you? Defense requires being visible constantly, and mitigating risk through powerful shows of force and presence. A powerful Christian presence under the one true God who does not sleep with evil. The cowardly love the Constitution in parts that soothe them. Free speech as a slogan, due process as a token, the right to bear arms, though I will never fucking use them. But the pages that speak of duty, of militia, of blood, of readiness, of the responsibility of the people to destroy corrupt government, these are the pages they will set alight first when a fire really comes. Because you who love the Constitution do not read it, and you yourselves do not obey it. So how do you expect somebody who wishes to suppress you to obey it? Imagine, for a second, a man who is comfortable with the idea of freedom, so long as he can do his grocery shopping and go to work and carry his little concealed carry that he's never, ever going to use. He speaks of rights like they are garden fences, necessary and tasteful, maybe requiring a coat of paint even. He wants regulations to protect his investments, laws to keep his streets neat, and a government that will enforce the property line. He's not the sort who stands in the square shouting when the first evils come to interrogate a neighbor. He is the sort who will switch the channel or vote for some kind of candidate that walks the line, hoping that the problem dissolves. He will return to his couch and be slightly inconvenienced, and then when it is too late, he will act surprised. The ones who shout are the ones they will hang. So few of you are shouting. They will turn their crucifixions into civic theater, and the rest of you will just simply call it order. You will rationalize the spectacle because your job requires it and you don't want to lose it. You will whisper that security comes at a cost, and by cost, you will mean other people's throats because you speak and do nothing. When Michael cast Lucifer out, it was because Lucifer, enamored with himself and his comfort, thought the throne was a chair to be rearranged to taste, much like we treat the Constitution. He wanted a place at the top, not to remake the order to benefit everybody. He wanted heaven to be hospitable to his monstrous appetite. And we are watching this in each and every one of his followers on the streets today. And we are watching each and every one of these protesters from the left and these strange new culty individuals from the right swoop in a moment of calamity to ensnare as many souls as possible. That is what the tyrants of earth do. They demand the seat be softened, the laws be reinterpreted, the window dressing be upgraded so their appetites are not offended by the austerity of duty. They allow your women to be raped so as not to cause conflicts of race. They allow, because through that rape will come a mixed race that is just far more politically correct. They will steal your children and sell them into slavery. And they will laugh about it because they like it. Their brains are underdeveloped. They may not even be entirely of this flesh. Do not confuse the language of civility for one of virtue. The world is full of polite cannibals who eat behind their curtains. They will call it progress. They will call it inclusion. They will put in common rooms and feng shui to make the predators feel at home. And then they will send the enforcement wings after you when you object. A crucifixion is a lesson. It tells the others, watch. There are consequences for being visible. Are you sure you want to say those words? Are you sure you want to upload that video? Are you sure you want to walk around in public like that? Your neighbor might still say that's barbaric and wrap a hand around a Bible and look for a sermon that permits their inaction. Another neighbor will look at the same crucifixion and see the forked tongue of power and know that they must move, because there are people who will move. But they need to be ignited. Like a spark to a flame. That's why your voice is so important. That's why every single one of your voices is so important. That's why every single one of your faces is the most valuable, is because you are the spark. Each and every single one of you is a spark. It's not like 1 out of 10 of you is a spark. You're all sparks. You are all sparks to the flame. You are all bricks in the temple of God. You are all necessary for the assembly to remain assembled. Do you not see, people? The town divides between those who rehearse virtue and those who enact it. Let us suppose by some terrible and likely reality that we are in the age when governments and their allied networks redefine acceptable speech by stealth. We're already seeing it from that Jewish shill, Pam Bondi, who's over here already moving to change the laws of what we can and can't say in this very peculiar of moment, wouldn't you say? Oh, yes, it's that bad. Oh, yes, it's that sneaky. Oh, they will start small. Labels, demotions, loss of jobs and credentialing, professional exile, Facebook bans, YouTube bans, and then they will devitalize the sources of livelihood. Contracts will be terminated, platforms demonetized, banks made inconvenient. You could see that with Nick Fuentes, who can't even make money just because of the words that he says. Or Charlie Kirk, who they will shoot because of the words that he says. Or you, because of the words that you say. Maybe they'll just burn you at a stake anyway, and you'll never get a chance to say anything. Which is better? Because we know how this ends, people. Do you not believe in the Bible? We know how it ends. Do you fear? Are you afraid? What of? What of? Are you not filled with the Holy Spirit? Do you not feel the power of Jesus in you? Do you not weep when you recall his forgiveness and power? What are you afraid of? Why are you not screaming his name from the rooftops? These evils, they're going to learn to make lives unlivable without technically breaking the law. This is where constitutional fetishists will stall, call for hearings and litigation and patience and peace. Let me say that again. Peace. Peace is not an option right now. I wish it was. But if nothing more, we are in a spiritual war where peace does not reside. But the court of public opinion, the court that sets the tempo for political courage, will be manipulated with data that behaves like a weather system. The storm will be naturalized. When that happens, Look to the people who do not retreat. Look to the ones with no illusions about safety. Look to the ones who accept the possibility of a cross and make their voice louder anyway. Not because martyrdom is romantic, but because history tilts toward the side that refuses to be intimidated by false gods. Tyrants do not invent resistance. They can merely reveal it by reaching a point of no return. Because the resistance will find them and stop them. We are told to fear chaos. No. We are to become chaos. We are to become chaos. We are the chaos of the Lord. And he will put us where we must be to cause as much spiritually righteous disruption as possible. Not all of us are soldiers. In life, this is the way, and in spirit, this may also be the way. Some of us are spiritual musicians. Some of us are spiritual cooks. Some of us are spiritual leaders in the righteous word for the children and for the women and for the men who are at peace, and some are chaos bringers in the army of God. These evils traffic in apocalyptic metaphors to rationalize preemptive cruelty, but consider the possibility that the true damage is the interior collapse of a people who let the language of sovereignty be whittled into some kind of marketing copy, some kind of thing that's good for everybody, some sort of fluid thing where you don't have to be a man or a woman. You can be an it. You can be a they. You can be multiple things at once. You can be a fart in the wind if that's what you want to identify as. You can be some kind of fucking retard who likes to take drugs just to prove a point against your enemy. You damage yourself just to prove a point to your enemy. These suicidal, cannibalistic complexes are what we have chosen to admire and accept. And when we are having a problem with it, we look to the very government that made it happen. And we say, please change this. And they say they will. And then they never do, because they are all liars and because they are all thieves and because this was by design. A man of God could have conquered this nation in one day. So ask yourselves, who is the man of God in the White House? Oh. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I have yet to find one. When a nation treats its founding text like a decorative pronouncement, you have not avoided disruption and evil chaos. You have postponed bloodshed by burying the necessary conversation under a carpet of polite, politically correct, weak, pathetic, retarded sentiment. You may say, this is extreme. What is the evidence of what you're saying? And why are you saying it to me in a way that hurts my feelings? It's because I cannot hold your hand through every example. You have to come to it yourself. You have turned your eyes away. Evidence is not merely headlines, it's a pattern. Evidence is not, maybe it is buried in the annals of ancient Middle Eastern or Masonic texts. I don't know. You can go ask all of your other weird podcast buddies who talk about that and nothing else, who try to find where exactly the black pill is deep in the books that they can't even verify are valid. Watch the legal scaffolding become reconfigured. It will happen very soon. Emergency powers expanded in minor emergencies. All of a sudden, there's a lot more military than they need for a specific task. Surveillance normalized in the name of health. Corporate platforms aligning with state narratives in the name of safety. Biomodification for the sake of expanding the potential of the human race. Watch also the softer instruments. cultural gatekeepers deciding who exactly is respectable and deserves to live, who is appropriating, who is respectable enough to be apologized for instead of prosecuted. Kimmel. When institutions willingly swap moral courage for brand security, you have a map of how they will act when the moment comes. Epstein. And when there is the most uncomfortable question, what side are you on when the first scaffolding falls? Are you the one who tells jokes about tyranny and makes memes while voting for the candidate whose brand has sucked the marrow from your civic appetite and the futures from your children? Or are you the one who stands alongside the persistent few? The ones who get their names carved into the public memory because they could not be made into an example? Are you the one with the name of the Lord written upon your chest? The cross is not an equalizer. The cross is a deliberate instrument to instruct the many through the suffering of a few. When people say, "Oh, I care about the Constitution. I care about the Constitution. The Constitution, don't tread on me, not on my Constitution." Listen, I have these flags hanging in my house as well. But the cross is a deliberate instrument to instruct the many through the suffering of a few. So when people say I care about the Constitution and then they live by slogans while the actual clauses that demand action gather dust, then they are living a hypocrisy as old as the Bible. The Constitution invites courage in specific terms. It does not ask you to sit in comfort and pray that some abstract principle will legally save you. Defense requires blood. It is written over and over and over, or at least it requires the willingness to risk it. This is not militant romanticism. It is practical. And I am not calling for physical violence. I do not want you to go to the streets with your guns. But I do recognize a time that is coming very, very soon when the fog of war will be so heavy upon the land that to just merely walk around will cause great, great risk to befall you and your family. If you doubt this, return to the parable of Michael, because he did not argue philosophy with Lucifer. He did not set a committee to study whether Lucifer deserved a place or could transition. He acted. The argument about the nature of heaven was decided by force, and that force was decisive. If you believe in the ideals that the Constitution is meant to protect, you must be prepared for decisive acts. Not necessarily by iron or gun, but by refusal to comply with illegitimate orders, to remunerate a system that is killing the narrative, to be a participant in the mechanisms of quiet oppression. Dissent is not merely speech. Dissent is the refusal to participate in the machinery that reduces human dignity and the image of God himself to some kind of ledger entry with a social security number. Say no to the small compromises that add up. They will come to you packaged as convenience, a form to sign, a subscription to pay for, a little checkbox, a town hall that you are told is now only for registered citizens. Each tiny capitulation makes the scaffold stronger. They will tell you the state is for your safety. It will not be untrue. They will do some things that are safe in exchange for your liberty and your soul. But safety chosen at the price of agency is not safety at all. It is a cage with a thermostat. You will be tempted to prefer measured warmth to a chance of cold. The question for anybody who values truth is whether you will become a clock or a chime. A clock runs and counts the minutes for others. A chime resists, sounding an alarm, form into a gong, form into a bell, and ring across the land, because the day will come when the new religion of civic taste will be invoked to rationalize punishment. People will gather around seminar tables to discuss whether certain thoughts are harmful and therefore may be excluded. They will decide that the harm to vulnerable feelings is a compound crime warranting decisive remedies. And we don't see it. It sounds so compassionate. It sounds so modern. It will also be the wedge that closes the door, my good people. Those who raise their voices will be rebranded as threats to the community, and then the community will be taught to scorn them. Have we not seen this already? Are we so blind that we can't see the very society that we live in? Watch the grammar of punishment shift from active to passive. They were deplatformed because they were removed for safety. Past transgressions show you the grammar. Future ones will be structure. Language is not neutral. It is a tool for the crafting of consent. If you choose inaction because you think the system is too strong, remember that systems are made of people. People are brittle and soft. They are also addicted to the illusion of normalcy. When the lamp of normalcy is extinguished, the first thing people do is reevaluate their courage. Do you understand that statement? Will they accept the new darkness? Will you accept the new darkness? Or will you contest it? The brave will choose the latter. Do not mistake the visible scaffold for the only place to resist. No. There are other kinds of defense. Build networks of mutual aid that do not route through the institutions that will betray you. Do not care about money. Do not care about public appeal. Do not care about the things that would make you look good in the public eye. We don't bother with such nonsense because the public eye has decided that you are potentially worth putting in the ground if the words are too offensive, if the words are too Christian, if the words are too righteous. Teach your neighbors not just the words of the Constitution, but also the Bible and how to use them. Teach them that defending liberty may require practical sacrifices, time, resources, visibility, and according to the Constitution and the Bible, sometimes blood. This is not romantic. It is merely logistical. When men who stand with crosses are taken down, it will not be the law alone that saves the next generation. It will be the infrastructure that you have created. It will be the safe houses of ideas that you have built. The networks of loan tools and food and credit and spiritual wholesomeness. It will be the people who have been prepared to act without asking or telling anybody. Michael's blade did not waver because the angel wanted to be loved by all. He was not like you, and you are not like him. He cast out a force that wanted to take the throne and convert it to a stage for its own adoration. That is what tyrants ask for. They demand that the heavens and the earth be made to fit their appetites. If you are not willing to be discomforted by the thought that your liberty requires more than simple rhetoric, well, then you're just another comfortable citizen of a collapsing republic. Welcome to the shit show. Those who preach the Constitution like a charm must answer me one question. Are you willing to be that charm's active guardian? Or are you content to wear it like jewelry as the building burns? And this goes to all you macho men with all of your guns and all of your blah, blah, blah. I'm the Constitution and I got guns. A pew, pew, pew. Wait until they come for me. The South will rise again. You are all cowards. Oh, really? Is that you? Are you gonna rise? Are you gonna take your little guns? And are you gonna go pew pew? And are you gonna go shoot all the people? And are you gonna take back the government? Yeah? Are you gonna wave your little flag on the bridge? No. You're not gonna do any of that. So get off the internet. Because you're spewing something that you can't back up. I'm willing to lose everything for this. Why do you think I'm out here talking like this? Do you think I think this is good for my channel? Do you think I think this is good for my public image? Do you think I think that this is going to make me more popular with the masses? I'm not doing this for money or fame. I don't know if you guys have picked that up yet. I'm not like these other guys who are willing to not say anything. But I can't admit that I am still figuring out my own mission. But I can tell you this. The Lord has instilled in me certain feelings that can only be expressed one way. I'm not meant to be liked. I'm okay with that. I'm not looking for anybody to like me. Although, if you are on Spotify, go hit that 5-star, please, because I want to stay alive on the web for a little while longer so that I can encourage all of you to become alive on the web. If all of you come alive on the web, I can fade away and die. And I'll consider my mission accomplished. The Constitution has language that is precise for a reason. So does the Bible. They don't call for comfortable spectators. It calls for participants who are willing to risk being visible so that others can follow. The audacity of liberty is that it asks for something, the willingness to stand. And I understand that we all have to do this in our own way. I can't ask the elderly and the sick and the wounded to become marchers in the streets. But you can pray harder than you've ever prayed. And you can scream out your windows. And you can scream from the rooftops. And you can hang up signs. And you can proclaim the Lord. And you can start an online community. And you can do all sorts of things. But we have forgotten what it is to do things for the Lord. We have forgotten what it is to put aside our own lives for the Lord. Because this life is not supposed to be good. We are just supposed to try to be happy in the Lord while we're here. Regardless, we are here. And some men have tried to make this great nation a safe place for the righteous. And the Constitution came to be because of that. The audacity of liberty is that it asks for something. You must be willing to stand for it. This is not a negotiation. If you are not willing to stand for it, you simply will not have it. If you will not stand, do not pretend that you're going to somehow be spared or that it's going to fix itself. The people who claim the mantle of quiet virtue, who will not raise their voices until their own houses are touched, will be the ones who learn last and learn painfully, because you will be alone. Well, humanly alone. I pray that the Spirit of the Lord makes you feel not alone, but physically you may stand by yourself in those times. Do not wait. The cross is made to instruct the many, to remind the many. History is made by the few who refuse to be made into an example without transforming that example into a warning for others to rise. History is made by the few who refuse to be made into an example for their enemies. That example is Uno reversed. Straight to jail. Do not collect $200. Because the example is not for the benefit of the enemy when they cut you down. The example is to me and to everybody who sees it, who knows why you're up there under the guillotine. We see you, we know you, and you are one of us. That is for whom you are an example. I'm not asking you for martyrdom as a spectacle. I'm asking for a disciplined, strategic refusal to consent to the small erosions of liberty. If you want to wake up and find a just world, it's not going to be planted in your sleep, my good people. I love you. I want what's best for you and for us. This can only be grown by people who understand what fruit, good fruit that is not made by Bill Gates or Jeffrey Bezos. We must remember what the good fruit looks like and what the poison fruit is, and who are willing to water the good fruit when the skies are dry with the blood of their veins. So speak not like a person who parrots slogans. Speak with the gravity of someone who understands that sounds change the literal motion of the air. Speak with courage. If you do not, you will be silent and you will get over it, just like you have already begun to get over the death of Charlie Kirk and the sacrifice of free speech. Your grief will not go unnoticed. You will talk about statements and procedures, and then you will change the channel. The ones who will not get over it will be the ones who made the sound long before the cages were bolted shut. Do not let this be a prophecy you load onto somebody else, like your children, or your brother, or me, although I will gladly take it for you. Michael did not look for a deputized agent to do his work when God commanded him. Michael acted. The world does not wait for unanimous consent, only for enough courage to bend the scale. Make yourself part of that tipping point. Teach your neighbors, build your networks, learn the grammar of resistance, and refuse the soft chair that would make Lucifer comfortable. Heaven has rules. The earth should too. If you do not help write them, others will write them for you, and their pen will be slow and cruel. But yours is the pen of the Lord's. It is in the hands of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the God of Gods, the one who created the universe, Father God Yahweh, the Creator. So if you're still afraid, what the fuck is wrong with you?